I really like these colours. They're really harmonious and blending beautifully. And you know, I was saying about the Monet paintings, how I really like them because they're so tranquil. Well, I'm actually finding this pretty tranquil too, which is good. That's not necessarily something I was going for. Something about Van Gogh paintings is often they're not all that tranquil, are they? There's a lot of movement, and I guess knowing his background as well makes you understand that his paintings weren't necessarily from a place of peace. So now I'm going to go back with that black. Yeah, so I'm pleased to see that this actually looks sort of calming. When I was at the sea recently, I had the idea of doing this YouTube video, and at the time I thought I'm going to do a sea video, doing sort of waves and everything, but then I decided on doing the Van Gogh painting. But now I'm seeing the waves in there anyway, so that's great. Now at this point, I'm going to pause and I'm going to get the picture up again on my phone that I've been using as a reference point. So I want to make sure that I'm maintaining those curves as much as I can, because they're really an important part of this piece. I think I could probably afford to dip down in the middle a bit more there. So perhaps what I'll do next, when I bring in the next colour, I might bring in a bit of grey, but not too much. And then I might start building some larger curves before I think about putting in some of the yellow for the sky and that lovely crescent moon and that sort of thing. All right, let's try a bit of grey. I'm not sure about this grey, but I'll give it a go. It's quite a pale grey. And I don't think I'll take it right across. I'll take it part of the way across. And it can sit on top of a little of that black. And I'll tuck that tail in as well. Okay, well that's all right. That's harmonious. It's not too dominating and it doesn't stand out too much. I was worried that it might stand out too much as a pale grey, that not enough of the other colours were pale to make it work, but it's fine. It looks fine. Yeah, that's okay. I'll build a little bit of that over on this side, but as I said, not too much. And I'm moving the weft back each time, so I'm not coming in as far each time because I want to have that curvy hill sort of aspect. And I want the grey to be seen, but I don't want a big chunk of it in here. A lot of these colours that I'm using are variegated as well, so if I put a big chunk of solid in at the moment like I did at the bottom, well, it's fine at the bottom because it kind of sets the piece up to go. But if I put it right in the middle, it might just dominate too much. You know, that the eye would just be drawn to that particular section and then not really be able to appreciate the subtleties of the other sections so much. Yeah, so I'll make that one exit now. Then I'll pop it into the next shed and tuck the tail in. And just give that a nice beat. All right, so yeah, that I'm all good with that. A little bit of grey, but not too much. That's fine. Now, I do want to bring in some more black, but I'm not sure. I don't want to accentuate that grey too much. So I'm actually going to bring in a little bit of more of that dark blue that I was using over here. And I'll just see how that pans out. I'm going to take it all the way across, just to see. Tuck my tail in. Oh, I didn't bubble. There we go. Yep, that's good. You know, sometimes in a weaving like this, you really have to try something to really know how it's going to look. And I've seen that so much in this, just in this piece already, that colours or things that I thought wouldn't work and that I was kind of hesitant to do have totally worked. And so yeah, just be willing to try. And as I said, it's only yarn. You can unweave it and redo it. All right. Now I think I will bring some of this to the middle. And I might meet it up with a little bit of black on this side, but I'm not going to use too much black. I'm sort of just really in love with this section now because of the colours, how they're moving. So I keep looking at that thinking, oh, I want to bring that hand spun back in. And I will. So I'm getting some speckles in there again. As I said before, this yarn doesn't completely cover the warp. It's just a bit thick for packing in, but I'm totally okay with that for this piece. Taking the black back. I think I want to do, bring the black in just a little bit further over this time and make that my last row or last two rows, because I have to take it back, of black. But it is doing a great job of accentuating the other colours and bringing out the deeper tones. by the way, if you watch my last videos on freestyle tapestry weaving, you'll notice that I used a different warp yarn. I used a fingering weight cotton, and you know, honestly that worked out fine. This time I went for a tapestry cotton because I have it and because it's nice and strong. So if you can't access tapestry cotton, I encourage you to use what you have, just as long as it's strong. I wouldn't use wool in the warp for tapestry because it's too elastic and it's going to affect your work. But if you have some cotton, that should be okay. I'm just going to do a little more black here. Now that I said that I ended the black, I'm thinking I want a little bit more black there. And even a little more, just to build up a little curve there a little bit more. Yeah, that's good. All right, I'm going to cut those two. And tuck them into the next shed. Now I'm grabbing some of this lovely colour again, and I think what I'll do just for fun is bring it up sort of in this dip and take it through the shed there a little ways. And so I've got a tail hanging behind. And then I'll take that back. Just going to do that a little to build up a bit of colour there. And when I come back this time, I'm not going to go as far, so I want to contour it a little bit to make it build up a little more colour right in the middle. Change shades. So not going right back to where I started with this colour now. This time I'm just going under 2 warp threads and then back under 2. And this time I'm going to take it through and then out to the edge. And then go back to where I first started with that colour. And back to the edge again. You know, I think I'm almost ready to bring in a hint of yellow. Just a hint. Change shades. This time I'll just come to here. And then I'm going to start building a little bit more of a curve over here. I want to have that come up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to finish that one off there. Change shades. Alright, I think at this point I'm going to bring in just a little bit of green, because when I look at Van Gogh's painting there is quite a bit of green in there, but it's sort of, it blends in a lot with the other darker colours. It's really just little spit spots here and there, so that's what I'm going to do as well. I'm going to do just a little, make it really subtle, and I do love this hand-dyed green of mine, so I'm quite happy to have any opportunity to use it. And I'll take that back again. Nice. blends so nicely with all the other colours that I've put in so far. But I'm not going to overdo it. It's just a little shot of green here and there. And I will probably bring that back again at some point. So I am starting to think about the yellow, but I really want to bring back in a bit more of this beautiful hand spun first. I think I'll do the hand spun on this side this time. Last time I had it coming in from the left hand side, so I'll try it on the right hand side this time. And I'm going to meet it up. I'll bring it across a fair way though. Actually, you know what? I'll bring it across most of the way for a start, and then start to pare that back. And I'm going to meet it up on the other side with, no, not that blue. What did I, oh yeah, I was going to try this blue, which I haven't actually got in this piece yet. Another hand dyed. This is a cotton this time. And it's a, what is it? It is a fingering weight. Tucking in the tails. I'll have to show you too what I just thought of before. And I can't believe I didn't think of this previously. But I was thinking the theme, Starry, Starry Night, well, stars sparkle, don't they? So I've got this gold tencel. It's an 8/2 weaving weight, so it's very thin, thinner than anything that I've used so far. But I reckon a little shot of it here and there could be a good thing. And once I get more up, you know, up towards the sky where I want to do the stars. And then I've got this gold sparkle as well. This is a metallic thread. It's actually very weak, just snaps and pulls apart like that. But in a weft thread, it's fine. And especially if you put it in with other threads, it's that lend its strength. And so I think once I get up towards the sky a little bit more, I will try to incorporate those a little bit, just for fun. All right, where were we? We are ready to make these yarns travel back. So I'm still going pretty strongly with the blues, but I'm lightening them up a little bit now. As in down here I've got some of the lighter shots of silk and that sort of thing, but now I want to sort of phase out the darker blues a bit as I get towards the middle, going towards the top of the piece, because as I mentioned, I want it to look a bit like a sky. All right, now this one can come a little less far this time. Now, as I mentioned already, this is probably going to be a long video, and it's going to be broken into parts. It will have to be. Simply because I'm doing this real-time kind of way of filming this time. But I want you to let me know in the comments whether you think the real-time kind of thing is like too long for you. For example, did you find yourself skipping a lot of the video because it was just too long, or was it just right for you, or maybe it was even too fast for you? You'd like things slowed down even more than that. I'd like to know. If you can let me know in the comments, I would be grateful for that. And come back a little further with the hand spun. Yeah, I think I've decided in this particular project that this hand spun is my favorite. I've used this hand spun, the very same one, in other projects before, and I've liked it, but I haven't loved it, and I love it in this project, so that's pretty cool. I'm glad I got it out and considered it as one of my weft yarns. Actually, another time that I wove a tapestry fairly recently, it was probably last year, and I used a lot of hand spun in a large section of the tapestry. It wasn't a, well, it was kind of a freestyle piece, but a little bit more planned out than this one. And I just didn't love the hand spun. The inconsistencies in the yarn, I was trying to do some sort of curvy, mountain shapes is what I was trying to do. And they just ended up looking a bit too chunky and not quite right. So I thought at that time, maybe hand spun isn't the best for tapestry, but then I've seen so many great tapestries that do use hand spun. And then I thought, well, maybe it's just my hand spun that I need to practice more and get a more consistent yarn. But so it's good to use my hand spun again in another project and find that I actually really love it. So I guess it's a combination of things. Yes, I definitely need more practice with spinning, but also it depends on the project as to whether the yarn's going to work or not. Now we're making progress. No one ever said tapestry was a fast art. It's definitely not. I'm also pleasantly surprised that I'm combining so many different types of yarns of different thicknesses and everything in this piece, and so far pretty much all of them have worked really well. I'd say the iron weight one is a little too heavy for this project because it does let a bit more than I would like of the warp to show, but it's not a huge issue. But the rest of the yarns have been really good. Alright, I'm going to build this. I'm going to build this hand spun up a bit over on this side. I'm actually going to not make them meet this time because I want to build more mounds on the sides, and I can bring them together afterwards in the middle to make it work, but I just want to focus on building them up a little bit more because I feel like my curves are disappearing a little bit as I go. So you can use the building of the curves, building specific sections on purpose to bring those curves up, and then as I beat, I'm shaping those curves as well. So I'm dipping down a little more in the middle here, and I'm dipping down a little at the sides, but I'm allowing these curves to rise up a bit more. You'll notice that on some picks I'm beating every pick, and others I'm weaving a couple of picks before beating. That really just depends on how it's looking. If everything's smushing down quite nicely, then I'm not so worried about beating with every single pick. This is better. I'm starting to build the mounds, and that's giving me a bit more of the look that I was after for this part of the piece. reckon I should bring in some yellow pretty soon. I've been talking about it for a while, but it's a big thing to bring yellow into all of this darkness, you know. I just didn't want to bring it in too soon. Alright, so you can really see that these curves are building up now, but I still want them to build up a bit more because I like the way they look. Yep, that's much more what I'm after. Just still want them higher. Alright, just a wee bit more on each side. Yeah, I'm happy with how those are looking now. Great, okay. So, cut the tail of that one. This one's nearly finished anyway, so I'll just tuck that in. And tuck that one in. Now I want to do something a little bit fun. I want to grab a little bit of black and enter that into the shed. I'm not sure if I should have it running right across or not. I'm just going to see how it looks running right across first to see whether I should do that or whether I should have it only running halfway across. But no, I'm good with that. I like it running all the way across. And then I'm going to grab a little of this gold. And I don't need very much. So I'll just wind it off like that. And bring that through. Tuck tails in. And then beat that. And then I want to follow that up with a bit of black. But I don't want to go too far in with the black. I'm just going around the edge thread there because I need to. I'll probably take the black to maybe here. To sandwich a little bit of that gold. And then pop back again. And then I think I'll run the black in a little bit further this time, so further across. To there. And then if you use your imagination, these gold bits do kind of look like stars, because we've sandwiched them in between the black wool, and because it's a very thin thread and I only put one pick in, they look like dots. So that's kind of cool. So that makes me think for my sparkle yarn, it would probably work quite well for dots as well. So we could have more stars that way.